Hello, everybody. The girls are
Hi.
talking to their Aaron Rodgers dolls,
Hello.
and we are here. Allie's here. Dr. Z's here. I'm here. I'm
Hi.
RZ. And you guys, welcome, boys and girls,
Playoffs.
playoff contenders. Oh, it's not a playoff episode without that. Playoffs?
I know. I only did it because everyone does it.
You gotta. It's part of it. So hopefully our viewership didn't steeply drop because we helped navigate you straight to the postseason. Unless there's so many of you that have first round buys that you're sleeping on the competition, don't sleep. There's so much to talk about, whether you're taking a week off or not. And so let's get into it. Girls, kick us off with the first whistle. Allie, what you got?
Well, it's the holiday season, and this
It is.
weekend
Look at my
was.
tree.
Oh, look at
Beautiful.
it! It's beautiful.
Yes.
This weekend was a pitch perfect for a Hallmark movie tearjerker moment during the Chiefs-Falcons game.
Mhm.
It might have been more of a horror movie if you were Matt Ryan and the Falcons, but cancer survivor Eric Berry made his return to Atlanta, where he is from. The last time he was there was for cancer treatment, but he had two spectacular plays, a pick six, and then the rarest of all, pick two return on a 2-point conversion. And he
Awesome.
gave the ball to his mom, and then he gave the second ball to his father. Are you all crying yet? Now, of course, if you're the Falcons, you're crying for different reasons, wondering what would have happened if you had just gone for an extra point or even just down the ball because they were up by one. But instead, Barry got his movie turned tearjerker moment. I loved it. I love football.
I love it too. All right,
great.
Dr. Z, what's your
That's it.
first whistle?
Well, ladies, every fantasy season, I forget one time that other teams, West Coast and Southern teams, cannot play in the snow. Case in point, Aaron Rodgers completed 20 of 30 passes for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns on Sunday, leading the Green Bay Packers to victory against the Texans. And the snow actually seemed to help the Packers. I don't know if you noticed. The wide receivers seemed to slide a little further. And Aaron Rodgers actually said that he grips the ball looser, which is sort of the opposite of what you'd expect you would need to do, which is to grip it tighter to keep it from slipping out of your hand. But you actually do the opposite. It's kind of like when you hit ice and your tires start to skid, you should never slam on the brakes. You should just sort of hold steady and do like a minor correction. And
Ooh,
that way you can
that's
stay
great.
on the road.
That's straight from the Midwest for all those that
That's
don't
going to
know
help me
about
when
driving
I'm
in the snow.
home.
Yeah, so
Driving my
don't forget
parents'
that,
car.
ladies. Don't let the West Coast make you soft. Anyway, in Chicago, Kaepernick and the 49ers, on the other hand, were a complete disaster. Cap mostly just handed off the ball or attempted short passes, which were immediately dropped by his wide receivers. And he was then benched early in the fourth quarter for his 4 total yards passing for Blaine Gabbert. So, wow. I mean, that really hurts. Never again, Kaepernick. Party is over. You're done. You're dead to me.
You're done. Just when we all decided to give him a shot, and
I did give him a shot.
I know.
I won't do it
He was
again.
looking better.
And
we were wrong.
Meanwhile, I got to sneak this in. Jordan Howard rushed 32 times for 117 yards and 3 touchdowns, which is even better than I expected. He actually edged out David Johnson by 0.1 fantasy points for the top running back score of the week.
Yes.
So I say keep rolling with Howard all the way to your fantasy championship.
Absolutely. He's definitely an RB1. Okay, you guys, cut Joe Flacco some slacko. Ugh, God, I hate it. That was for you, Allie. I hated it as soon as I said it.
I'll take it.
Do it as well as she does.
Nobody does.
I just don't try anymore.
No, I can't. I mean, I'm going to keep trying, but I will pale in comparison. Okay, so Mr. Flacco deserves some love with his 3rd career game with 4 touchdowns and for leading scoring in week 13. But alas, don't get too cozy with Josie. That one I wasn't even planned.
My God. I'm going to pass out.
He's a QB2 this week against a stout Patriots defense. Speaking of the Pats, no Gronk. no problem. Brady's breaking records as well as Rams fans' hearts. He's now the winningest QB of all time and still Dr. Z's least favorite QB of all time. Can this man truly play until he's 50? Maybe.
2 more
Please
years,
no.
I think. 2 more years.
It's gotta end at some point.
It's gotta end. Okay. The only thing ending right now is my fantasy football season. It's time for Mopes and Gloats. And it's either most leagues it's playoff time. I have one league where the playoffs aren't till next week. But anyways, Allie, moping, gloating, talk to us.
Mostly gloating. I'll gloat first. My non-lady league, my dude league, has been a beacon of shining success for one Jew Breeze. That's my team this year. You could say it's been fantasty. Want to? I held my breath yesterday evening, praying that a receiver named Quincy Enunwa wouldn't get more than 20 fantasy points, because that would be the only thing standing between me and the highest point total. Luckily, the Jets were a hot piece of garbage last night, and
bad.
I have the highest total. So I have guaranteed money, baby. I've already come home with something. I'm stoked about that.
Congrats.
I have the 1 seed. I can hope to continue to dominate. I have to hope that my superstar Falcons ridden team can keep going, because you can sort of see the Falcons starting to point the other way. So luckily this week, Devonta Freeman, is it Devontae?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sure.
I don't. Yeah. He made up for what Matt Ryan lacked. So I'm just hoping that he and Julio Jones can just keep balling out for me.
Yes, and if you say it wrong, Allie, just blame it on your Midwest accent.
Oh, Devontae. Oh,
yeah. Oh, dear, Devontae. Love him.
As Dr. Z will tell you, I lost in Lady League, but I still ended up in a respectable 4th place. So all of our many fans can really hope that Dr. Z and I face off possibly in a few rounds. My big slip up, was starting James Starks. I thought because of Rodgers' impacted leg, Starks would see a lot of action, but he had very few carries. He was behind Christine and Ty Montgomery. So let's just say I was stark raving mad at myself for that one.
And on that note, Dr. Z, moping or gloating?
Well, I'm gloating, but I just wanted to say it seems like we never know who is going to blow up on the Packers, because we talked about Adams last week. We thought we could finally trust him. And what is he going to do? He gets us one.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I guess we have to never change our minds is basically it. Because we said from the get-go that Devontae was too much boom bust. And then we were like, no, we're getting on the wagon. But yeah, you're right. Can't
Didn't
trust
happen.
him. Everybody,
Now,
who knows?
He wasn't used to the snow. The snow was new.
Yeah.
that could be.
Randall
So-
Cobb was good in the snow.
He was
He
great in the
was.
snow.
All right. So I've been waiting for all my running backs in the Lady League to finally hit at once, because I have a lot of good running backs, and it finally happened. I just couldn't play them all, so it's you just never know.
And a bad problem.
Yeah, exactly. Howard and Melvin Gordon, obviously I expected to get me fantasy points, but Rowell's actually beasted out on my bench for 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns. Ware also had 2 touchdowns, but he totaled less than 60 combined yards. So he's just not doing quite as well as I would like, but I still think you can roll with these guys next week. Doug Martin also had a respectable day, although he was the lowest point total of all the guys I just mentioned. My opponent, Sacks in the City, actually started 2 players out.
What?
Okay.
Oh my God. Fine,
Okay.
I told you.
In
I
her
told
defense,
you.
first of all, she's still in the playoffs. Second of all,
Yeah,
she
she's
moved
the
to
one
New
seed.
York. She's got a crazy time. And third of all, she was actually kicked out of the league at one point, and then I let her back in because she would get too busy and not set her lineup. But she's a winner, and she'll probably still
She's a
win the
winner.
dang thing.
Yeah.
No,
I hope
really
one- I
hope
hope
not.
one of
because
us
somebody
takes
who
her
doesn't set their
down.
lineup does not deserve it. I'm sorry.
But she could afford to. She's trolling us. She's like, I don't
she's
have
trolling.
to.
The one
Still
she was the
seed.
she was the one who didn't switch out her kicker because she thought she could win without a kicker.
I remember,
Cocky.
and actually starting
cocky.
players who are out is an offense that should get her kicked out, regardless of if she's winning or losing. But I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I get
insist on it or
emails
anything.
as the commissioner. I get emails when people don't set the lineup. I mean, yeah.
Yes, she
And
does.
messages from me.
Yes, that's true. Okay, go on.
Okay, so anyway, all the love to Dara. In my other winning league, where I also just so happen to have Melvin Gordon and David Johnson as my number 1 and 2 running back, and then I have Ware, Booker, and Martin all on deck. The best thing ever happened in this league. First of all, there is a particular player who had named his team Trump for President, who has been giving me, as you can imagine, he's been hassling me, the only female, all season on the message boards. And he actually trolled me last week because he beat me. And he was like, oh, it was my bye week. #easy win. And
did he call you nasty?
Yeah, you should change your name to Nasty Woman.
I know, seriously. But he actually lost dismally this week. And I was actually bumped down to 4th place because I lost to him. He lost dismally. And then I beat Buster Gonads. Please bear with me on these names. I have a comment about the names.
Great.
By 60 points. And then Lord T. Boneth, who was in 2nd place, lost. And I moved up to 2nd place and bumped Trump out of the playoffs. All I have to do is hang on 1 more week to get my revenge on this guy.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know. And I just want to, as a side note, I want to ask, why do dudes name their teams after male and female genitalia as their apparent default when they can't come up with anything better? I'm sorry, but this smacks of low intelligence and also a lack of imagination in my mind. Guys, you can do better than this.
We believe in you.
There's 1 or 2 of those in my dude league.
There always is. I can't even.
Also,
I'm not actually even going to tell you what the name. I can't even say it. What the name of the league is
right?
that I'm in. It's gross. I didn't even know it was something dirty until it was too late.
Oh my God.
But
something
it is
about Mark Sanchez.
No, it's something about lady body parts. Ugh. Guys,
it's tough for us.
It's so banal. Come on, you're better than this.
One thing if you want to talk about your own genitalia, but you really have to drag ladies, what's into it.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a lady league. We're talking feminist fantasy football right now, and we're not afraid of it.
No.
Are you done though? Are you done gloating? That was a good gloat. We can all gloat with you.
That was a great gloat. Exactly.
That's as close to a gloat as I'm going to get. Mope, guys. Mope.
Aww.
Still, okay, one thing. There's still somehow a glimmer of hope because obviously I'm out in the lady league. But in my other league, they have late playoffs. So somehow, even though I lost this week, I now play the guy in 4th, I think Johnny Boonitis. It's pretty funny. It's not genitalia, which I appreciate. But so if I beat him and then the guy in 5th loses, then I'm in. I mean, it's not bloody likely, but whatever. A girl can dream. Except I almost just want my season to be over so I can start prepping for March Madness. Just cut my losses.
Stay tuned for our March Madness podcast.
Yeah, right? Okay. But it is for people other than me, people are in their playoffs. And so much like the NFL postseason, the fantasy playoffs offer a fresh start. Those previous missteps, they no longer apply. And for most of you, your playoff seed, your schedule, it's set. And, hopefully we can help you keep on winning. So before I let the girls take it away with some fantasy playoff advice, I just have to say, dance with the girl that brung ya, right? Except, as an aside, I always thought that was pretty awkwardly worded as far as quotes go. But
yeah.
It's like a thing that I want, even if it's just like my brain wants to keep saying it. Like every time it gets stuck in my head like a Justin Bieber song, I just want to keep saying it. So what do you think, girls? Dr. Z, is that the advice? Is that the takeaway? Talk to us.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody says start the guys who got you there, and I do think that they are absolutely correct. Do not overthink matchups when it comes to your studs. On the other hand, there are going to be positions like your flex or your wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 spot where you really need to closely look at the matchups and play the matchups like you would any other week. It doesn't hurt if their team is on fire, like Dallas or Oakland, or if they're playing for their second life in the playoffs, like Green Bay and Tampa Bay. So those are all kind of things that you want to keep in mind. And then I would also, just from my prior experience, try to stay away from the super boom bust type of players.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and last year in the Lady League Championship, it was Martavis Bryant who cost me the matchup. Granted, my opponent beasted out for like 140 points in a standard league, but I got like 130. I mean, I missed it by 10, and Martavis Bryant got me 0, and I had a wide receiver on my bench that got like 11. I'm not even kidding you. I still could have won despite the 140-point game, and I went for the boomer bust player.
What a crushing defeat.
It was, and that's the second time I've been runner-up in the Lady League, and I need to win this league. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. So,
yes. All right, Allie, what's your advice for us?
Yeah. I would say, not to pile on, but I also agree, that you should ride your horses. Does not mean you can't have a little defensive fun with your bench. Like, look at who your opponents are in the next few weeks. Look at their roster. I did this last night. Perhaps someone is a little short on wide receiver. If you can afford a spot on your bench, maybe grab that last decent wide receiver on the wire and keep them away from your competition.
I like that.
Insert Game of Thrones music here.
Yes, it's very trickery. I like it.
Hey, I'm lucky to be on a bye, so that's all I'm looking at right now is how to stab my opponents.
Defense is the best offense, I guess.
That's right. Speaking of defense, this is a good time to think of streaming a defense. If, like me, your defenses like the Cardinals and Panthers have started letting you down big time.
Big time. Big time.
Allie, are you still going to roll with the Dolphins? Because I'm really starting to have my second.
God, I didn't tell you.
Thoughts.
Embarrassingly, I didn't. I actually didn't get them. I assumed I got them because I put in a claim, but I forgot in that league, it doesn't go like it goes every week from whoever's in first place is always last on waivers. So I forgot and I didn't get them.
Well, they got 0 points. So it might have been a blessing.
They were in my lineup.
Lucky.
Yes, they were in my lineup too. And I mean, streaming defenses is so tough, but I always stream defenses because I won't waste a high draft pick on them. And
right, of course.
It's tough right now.
All right.
It's hard out there for a fantasy football owner. Okay, guys. Week 14, studs and duds. It's early in the week. So message us with your lineup questions closer to kickoff. But here are our initial thoughts. Obviously, we're not going to name the obvious, like Bo Bay Baggins.
Marcy, that is not what was
Babo.
If you guys haven't been watching or listening, that is Dr. Z's perpetual Bay, Melvin Gordon. But there are some other players that are on the cusp. So, Dr. Z, you got some QBs and RBs.
Okay, well, at quarterback, I do like Jameis Winston against New Orleans. Despite New Orleans' sort of weak performance this past week, this should be another shootout. I also like Derek Carr versus Kansas City on Thursday Night Football. He's just been playing lights out, and I think that pinky is not bothering him much at all, at least not noticeably. I would pass on Mariota versus Denver, and then obviously Kaepernick is dead to me, and I wouldn't start him. At running back, I like Ingram to bounce back against Tampa Bay this week because they've allowed the 7th highest yards per carry, and Ingram likes to get his yards in big chunks. He's been very boomer bust, so that was a guy I wanted to mention. I also expect Ware and Rowles to deliver again this week. Ware versus Oakland and Rowles playing against Green Bay. I think both those guys are going to be top 20 performers this week.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I would temper expectations for Ajayi versus Arizona and Gore versus Houston.
Okay, I like it. I like it. Allie, our tight end expert. What do you got?
Yes, I am. So I've got 2 duds that are maybe going to make some of you guys feel bad at home because they're 2 people who should have had great years. The first is Martellus Bennett has turned out to be a bit of a dud, even with Gronk out of the picture. He simply has not reached his potential or his projections in the last few weeks. I'm telling you, he is not worth another 2-point game in the playoffs. I learned that the hard way.
Mitchell's getting all of his catches.
Exactly. And it's like that offense is just humming along very nicely, even with that. Like Tom Brady tried to get him, a pass this weekend, but if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. So pass on Martell. Pass on Soldier Boy Tellis. Sorry, I had to put that in one more time.
It's a good one.
I'm also not confident on Greg Olsen, who's just a very sad piece of collateral from the Panthers Super Bowl hangover of shame. He's had a really tough 5 weeks, and I think only put him in if you don't have a better option. You understand you kind of like want to play those big names that you drafted, but I feel like his arrow is also pointing downwards. On the bright side, I'm going to give you just my top 3 for this week. I wrote down, Jimmy Eat Graham Crackers. I think that's Jimmy Eat World reference. I don't know if it works.
And Graham, and Graham Crackers.
So
that was a 2 for not your best.
Yeah,
but it
hit 2.
It's no pop-up 10 of destiny.
No, it's
Sorry.
not.
Jimmy Eat Graham Crackers is the number 1 tight end this week against a very sadly weak Green Bay defense.
Yeah, and I think he's gotten a touchdown in 4 out of the last 5 games. He's found the end zone.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, he's finally – they're figuring out how to use him in that offense.
And then for number 2, I have Travis Kelce. He's a stud for some tasty Thursday night points if you can't wait to play your studs. And then my baby, Tyler Eifert. Especially against the hapless Browns, who Eifert had a great game against last season. So those are my top 3. And then the next 3, I have to say, I'm really proud of the people that I told you guys to pick up from waiver wire who have really panned out, such as Vernon Davis, Darius Green, Kyle Rudolph, the reliable reindeer, if I may. He can always be counted on for 8 to 12 points.
I approve of that.
And then pick up from last week, CJ Fedorovich. He had a very promising start. Even though the offense didn't do much, he had the most targets with 6 catches, 9 targets, 44 yards. He led the team. So it wasn't a huge week, but, if you're weak at that position, please keep him on your roster or pick him up.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
welcome.
I got some wide receivers to talk about. Okay, Demaryius Thomas went 6 of 10 for 61 last week, which doesn't sound that good, but it's pretty good considering Paxton Lynch was pitching him the ball along the same.
He was my bae last week.
He was your bae. So along the same vein, Sanders has been solid and has built quite the rapport with Simeon, but disappointed with only 28 yards on Sunday. Again, Paxton Lynch. So Simeon is still battling that foot sprain that took him out last week. But if he's a go against the Titans in week 14, then I like both guys as wide receiver 2s, especially since the Titans have given up the 3rd most receiving yards to wideouts this season. Monitor the Simeon situation, but I expect them both to be studs. All right. Amari Cooper racked up 129 yards last time he met KC in week 6. And the Chiefs have been allowing over 200 yards a game to wideouts. So start your Raiders receivers. Even sitting in a crab tree, other than his quiet last 2 games, he's been productive, and I see him bouncing back in a big way this week. And
I hope.
The other side of this Denver matchup, I think Rashard Matthews will be a bit of a dud versus Denver. He's been ranked ahead of a lot of big-name guys in the last several weeks, Julio Jones and Jordy Nelson, just to name a few. But he's got the stingy Denver D to contend with this week, and they've allowed the fewest yards and fantasy points to receivers this season. So I think that makes him a low-end wide receiver 3 or a flex option, more of the dud category.
Yes.
Okay, it's Bay time.
Bay time.
Oh my gosh. Bay time. You guys, I'm just going to say, I got to do it. Randall Cobb and that touchdown catch and his sweet little snow angel.
Snow angel.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Also, the refs of the game get an honorary Bay because they didn't throw the flag on that sweet little snowy celebration.
Thank God.
It's because he was down already, so it was okay. But do you think, I mean, another player got flagged in a different game, same day, because he went down to do the snow angel. Do you guys think it's ridiculous that he would have gotten called had he not already been down and all the no fun league stuff, or what?
To be fair, it did feel like it was not choreographed. I think, it felt like a very spontaneous thing. So it felt less egregious.
He just couldn't help himself. He needed to make a snow angel.
Yeah, he's like, I'm already down. What else am I going to do?
Yeah, I think I like celebrations. I
do too. I think it's part of the game. I mean, I understand there's certain ones that, do feel like a delay of game. But in general,
I like twerking. I mean, if you're doing like a Stone Cold Steve Austin suck it, like that, flag it. But a little twerk here or there, I like it.
I like it too. It gives
a little move here or there. I think is okay.
I know, come on.
But not like a full 30-second choreographed, obnoxious dance routine.
We're so lucky that in Lambeau we have the Lambeau Leap because it's just a nice celebration with the fans.
I'm really glad that you brought that up because I want to point out that I highly disapprove of other teams coming into Lambeau and doing the Lambeau Leap.
It seems a bit disrespectful.
It is disrespectful and it should not be allowed. I don't know how we can disallow it, but
let's make a petition.
The players should sign some kind of waiver or agreement that they will not Lambeau Leap or they will be ejected from the game.
What are you going to do?
Okay. All right. Moving on.
Right. Yes, my bay is one Latavius Murray, who showed up for another dominant Raiders victory, 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I have to say, when I'm not in a Crabtree, I'm happy to be on the ground game with Mr. Murray. I got high, I got low, I got them both.
I like it.
So, who knew Oakland would be such a fruitful year for me?
Unexpected.
All right, Dr. Z, who's your bay?
Well, I'm running out of weeks to
go
on about
I'm
my
sick
bay.
Of it.
My only true fantasy bay, Melvin Gordon, not just for his 84 rushing yards, 1 rushing TD, and 54 receiving yards in week 13.
I wish I was dead right now.
But for
Was it only because the Badgers lost to Penn State? Is that why you wish you were dead too?
Yes. We need Melvin back on the Badgers. If Melvin could go back to the Badgers, that'd be great.
That'd be good. Anyway, sorry to interrupt your love of.
Sorry.
Allie's real sorry. Anyways, for his 209 fantasy points so far in the year, which is good for 3rd place behind only David Johnson and rookie star Ezekiel Elliott, who are the only 2 players I'd rather have. I just want to say, Melvin Gordon, I always believed in you. Even when your ADP fell to the 7th round, I reached for you in the 5th because I knew you had it in you. And look, you're worthy of a late 1st round, even early 2nd round pick, and that's where you're going to go next year. So, XOXO.
I reached for him last year, and I was baited by Hugh in my league. It was a auction draft, and he baited me to overpay for Melvin, and I did, and then he was a bust, and then I didn't do it this year because I'd already done it last year. And anyways, I get that he's your bae. He deserves it.
Thanks, girl.
Go ahead and have
I'm
it.
just a little jealous. Anyways, you guys, that's it. It's time for the final whistle. I'm just gonna say that Cam got benched for not wearing a tie. Anderson threw a pick on the first play of the game in his place. Ooh. And all the Panthers want for Christmas is the season to be over.
That was rough.
All right, Dr. Z.
The Panthers are unwatchable at this point. I mean, I guess basically target them, find a defense and play them against them because they're awful.
Yeah.
That's not my final whistle, though. Sorry, Panthers fans. My final whistle is some more playoff advice. Please check the weather ahead of kickoff in your matchups. Is the matchup in a dome? If not, is your quarterback Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
If not, does your quarterback play for a soft, dome-coddled West Coast or Southern team? If so, expect a lot of handoffs to the running back. In general, quarterbacks, wide receivers, and kickers all get a downgrade if playing in the snow, while running backs and maybe even defenses get a bump up. So just keep that in mind. Don't go crazy, but keep it in mind.
Okay, I like it, Allie.
Unless you're James Starks, damn it. But
Right.
along with that, more advice is to really trust your gut, ladies and gents. If you're like me, you wake up at 9:30 every Sunday in a panic, and you just text message the last 5 people on your phone with a poll, like with a sit-start option. And then you end up mad at them if they gave you the wrong answer. So, you know what? It's like you've come this far. It's the holiday season. Don't get mad at your landlord because they told you to go and play James Starks. God damn it.
Oh, gosh. Golly
Trust
gee.
your gut.
With that, we'll see you next week. Follow us on social media at the FF Lady League. Remember, send us your lineup questions, your sit starts. We have got you covered. Maybe not me. I'm having a bit of a down year, but maybe Dr. Z or Allie. If it's tight ends, ask Allie. If it's everything else, ask Dr. Z. That's
For sure.
So thank you guys so much for watching. We love you. We'll see you next week. And kick some butt out there, okay? Bye.
See ya.
Bye.